You've seen the label around. It's now world famous. It was just famous amongst Paso Robles wine cognoscenti. And then Eric Jensen, the proprietor of Booker and the founder of Harvey and Harriet and My Favorite Neighbor Wines, he sold, baby, he sold. And good for him, right? That's the idea, man. Just friggin' bust ass and then do your stuff for like a decade, 2 decades, build, work, and then get a check. Sounds good to me. If anyone's interested in overpaying for one of the greatest wine shops in the United States, operators are standing by. Probably not, but let's talk. I'm flexible. Harvey and Harriet, 2021 white blend. So this was the first vintage of white blend they did. This is a post-Constellation purchase. And I think they did need a white wine for the portfolio. You know, a lot of these people coming to visit Booker, and it's more like, do you have a white? And Eric and all the Constellation people probably looking at each other like, so I think they made a white wine, and this is their inaugural one. And you know what? They hammered this wine. This is exactly what you think a Booker-style, juicy, yummy white wine from this area would taste like. And they did it like in that classic, almost not totally Rhone, but in that classic blend style that we get from Westside Paso Robles and the Templeton Gap and that sort of deal. So here we're dealing with Chardonnay, I think is the base, Albarino, Pinot Gris, and Viognier. So we have several aromatic grape varieties working with a Chardonnay, the grape variety that gives you a lot of base notes. So you have a center with the Chardonnay, and then you have all these florals and spices flittering about with the other grape varieties. So what you create is like this perfectly unctuous, a little honey in there today, like in a good way. The Pinot Gris is actually going rock, rock, rock. That's the Pinot Gris barking. But you get this beautiful, juicy, easy, super easy drinking white wine with complexity. A lot of times grape varieties can cancel each other out, right? I've done a lot of blending trials in my life, and there are times you put 3 grape varieties together and it tastes like a bunch of nothing. There's other times where you put 3 or 4 grape varieties together and each one of them kind of like a band, man. They all have their moment, they all got their solo. And this is one of those wines where that kind of works. There's some really deft blending going on here with the Harvey and Harriet White. I think there is some barrel aging on this, but the wine's not toasty oaky at all. Don't get buttery Chardonnay out of your head, but this is still a pleasureful wine. So think of like, I'm not gonna say any brand names, but think of like one of those toasty big Chardonnays, but you pull the butter or the wood out, and you still have all that wonderful, fresh, bright primary fruit, again, with all these florals and honey and spices and all these things, all these nuances, and basically the texture of the wood without the blatant toast or buttery characters, and that's what you get with the Harvey and Harriet White Blend. It is a immensely enjoyable wine, a wine meant for the here and now, a wine meant to be consumed with reckless abandon on hot porches in Paso Robles in the middle of summer when it's like 162 degrees. That's what this wine's meant for. And that's what this wine does very, very well. Now, again, this was 95 points from Wine Advocate. This was a monster score. This was another one of those wines that we were kind of like, what? Then we tasted the wine, we're like, man, I get it. Now, apparently they have a bit of it. So we did get a phone call. Hey, we got some super special pricing for you guys. And we said, yes, please. And thank you. And so now we're offering this $28. This is okay, $28. The wine wasn't expensive to begin with. You know, for a Harvey and Harriet, My Favorite Neighbor Booker level wine, at $28, this wine was already pretty good value. And then they were like, well, like, what if we give you like $10 off? And we're like, yes, thank you. So there you have it, $18.98. So almost $10 a bottle off. This wine, it was already like a screaming bargain. We sent this as an email a few months back, did very well with it, but I think at $8 or $9 a bottle cheaper, we're gonna do really well with it this time. Got the super cool screw cap, don't have to worry about corks, TCA, this is bad, this is sour, this sucks, etc., etc. Good, clean, beautiful bottle of white wine every time. And believe it or not, folks in Southern California, summer is coming. Maybe? Cheers.